Highly Defensive is back. Kinda early, but thanks to you guys' votes, I wanted to jump on this one quick. We've done several wing defenders and how they've matched up through their careers on the defensive side, so today we shift to the big men, where we will judge them similar to the wings but with a few variations, as we'll toss in rim protection instead of off-ball defense. Those two gladiators we will be dissecting today are Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. They are two of the most dominant defensive players in NBA history. Both players had illustrious careers, marked by defensive excellence, versatility, and a sustained impact on team success. However, comparing their defensive abilities requires examining their accolades, statistics, skill sets, leadership, and impact on team defense over their respective careers. Today, we'll explore their defensive legacies across several key areas to determine who was the better defender. But first, if you enjoy NBA breakdowns and analysis, please subscribe to the channel. We are working for that 2,000 sub mark and can't do it without you guys. Also, check out the GOATcast podcast, streaming live every week with guests and some wild takes. Thank you, and now let's get into this. Both Duncan and Garnett received significant recognition for their defensive prowess. Tim Duncan had 15 all-defensive team selections, 8 first team and 7 second team, and he helped anchor one of the greatest defensive dynasties in NBA history with the San Antonio Spurs. Never won Defensive Player of the Year. To me, that's still crazy. Though he was a perennial candidate. Played a pivotal role in 5 championship teams where his defense was integral. Kevin Garnett has 12 all-defensive team selections, 9 first team, 3 second team, 9 tied for the most first teams with other great all-time defenders. He won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, leading the Boston Celtics to an NBA best defense and championship that season. Consistently regarded as one of the most versatile and intense defenders in the league. While Duncan holds the edge in total all-defensive selections, Garnett's DPOY award highlights his ability to peak as the league's best defender. This area is close, but Duncan's longevity and unmatched consistency gives him a slight edge. A statistical comparison provides insight into their defensive styles and impact. Duncan was the superior shot blocker with his 2.2 blocks per game, showcasing his role as an elite rim protector. Garnett, while a strong shot blocker, did not match Duncan's dominance in this area. Garnett's 1.3 steals per game demonstrate his versatility and ability to guard smaller, quicker players. Duncan's 0.7 steals reflects his more traditional role as a rim protector and anchor in the post. Both players were elite defensive rebounders, with Garnett holding a slight edge. Garnett's athleticism and mobility allowed him to secure rebounds across a wider range of positions, while Duncan's positioning and technique made him equally effective. Duncan's 106.3 defensive win shares reflects his sustained impact on team defense over 2 decades. Garnett's 96.7 is also impressive, though Duncan's higher total highlights his consistent defensive contributions. Duncan's 96 defensive rating underscores his ability to anchor historically great defenses, while Garnett's 99 rating reflects his more versatile but slightly less efficient defensive role. Duncan's statistical profile emphasizes rim protection and defensive efficiency, while Garnett's highlights versatility and ability to generate steals. Duncan's edge in defensive win shares and defensive rating gives him the statistical advantage. Rim protection is a cornerstone of any elite big man's defensive repertoire. As a traditional power forward center, Duncan excelled in protecting the rim. His disciplined approach and ability to alter shots without fouling made him one of the best rim protectors in NBA history. Duncan's rim protection was a key component of the Spurs defense, consistently ranking among the league's best. While Garnett was also a strong rim protector, his role often required him to defend both in the paint and on the perimeter. Garnett's mobility occasionally took him away from the basket, limiting his shot blocking numbers compared to Duncan. However, his ability to contest shots around the rim was still elite. Duncan was the superior protector, as his game revolved around controlling the paint and deterring opponents from scoring inside. In today's NBA, the ability to defend on the perimeter is critical, even for big men. Garnett's and Duncan's differing roles highlight their versatility. Duncan's defensive focus was primarily in the post and protecting the rim. While he could occasionally switch on to smaller players, his lateral quickness was not his strongest attribute. His defensive impact was more pronounced when he stayed within his comfort zone near the basket. Garnett's lateral mobility and athleticism allowed him to guard multiple positions effectively. Whether defending on the perimeter or switching in pick-and-roll situations, Garnett's versatility was unmatched among big men. He could seamlessly guard guards, wings, and bigs, making him a nightmare for opposing offenses. Garnett's ability to guard multiple positions gives him a clear edge in versatility and perimeter defense. Both players were vocal leaders and defensive anchors who set the tone for their teams. Duncan's quiet demeanor didn't tell the full story of his immense leadership on defense. His ability to anchor the Spurs defense for nearly 2 decades helped create one of the most consistent defensive dynasties in NBA history. Duncan's leadership extended beyond the court as he instilled a culture of discipline and accountability. Garnett was one of the most vocal and intense defensive leaders in NBA history. His energy and passion elevated his teammates, particularly during his tenure with the Boston Celtics. Garnett's defensive leadership was instrumental in the Celtics' 2008 championship, where they boasted one of the greatest defenses of all time. For this, I'm going to call it a tie. While Garnett's intensity was unmatched, Duncan's quiet leadership and ability to sustain defensive excellence over 20 years are equally impressive. Clutch performances in high-stakes games are critical when evaluating defensive greatness. Duncan's playoff resume is unparalleled, with 5 championships and consistent defensive excellence throughout his career. His ability to anchor the Spurs defense in the postseason was instrumental in their success, particularly during finals runs where he shut down opposing big men. Garnett's playoff success peaked with the 2008 Celtics, where his defensive leadership and versatility were critical. While he had several dominant playoff runs, Garnett's overall postseason success doesn't match Duncan's, largely due to differences in team success. Duncan's playoff consistency and championship pedigree give him the edge in clutch defensive performances. Longevity and the ability to sustain defensive impact over time are crucial. Duncan's 15 all-defensive team selections and consistent defensive contributions over 19 seasons are unmatched. He remained a key defensive anchor for the Spurs well into his late 30s, demonstrating remarkable durability and adaptability. Garnett also had a long career, with his defensive prime lasting over a decade. While his intensity waned slightly in his later years, Garnett remained a defensive force well into his mid-30s. Duncan's sustained excellence over a longer career gives him the edge in longevity and consistency. Both Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett were exceptional defenders with distinct strengths. Duncan was a disciplined, efficient rim protector who anchored one of the most successful defensive dynasties in NBA history. Duncan's consistency, defensive IQ, and ability to lead a team defense make him one of the greatest defenders ever. Kevin Garnett was a versatile, intense defender capable of guarding multiple positions and dominating pick-and-roll situations. Garnett's energy, passion, and ability to elevate team defense at his peak set him apart. So, who's the better defender? I think it's quite easy when you really think about it. But ultimately, Tim Duncan's consistency, his rim protection, and leadership give him an edge as the better overall defender. Garnett's versatility and peak impact are remarkable, but Duncan's sustained excellence and role in shaping an all-time great defensive culture make him the more complete defender. Both are legends, of course, but Duncan's legacy as the foundation of the Spurs' defensive dominance solidifies his place as the better defender overall. But what do you all think? Is Tim Duncan the better defender between himself and Kevin Garnett? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Also, if you have any suggestions for the next highly defensive